Hi everyone and welcome back to Akshata's Recipes. Thank you so much for joining me today. So today's recipe is this lovely chutney poli, which is an all-purpose chutney. You can use this with dosas, uttapas, idli, thalipeeth, just plain rice and curd. It's just multi-purpose and it's really delicious. So let's just dive straight ahead into the recipe and watch the video till the end for a few tips about the recipe. So let's get started. So let's start with today's chutney podi recipe. Let me take you through the ingredients. So here we have 3/4 of a cup of chana dal. You don't have to wash the dal. Half a cup of udid dal. 2 tablespoons of tea or sesame seeds. 1/4 cup of dry grated coconut. 1 tablespoon each of jaggery and tamarind. 1 teaspoon each of turmeric and asafoetida powder. Salt to taste and 8 to 9 peppercorns. 10 bedgi mirchis, 10 red chillies and 10 to 15 curry leaves. So let's start with the recipe. Now I've heated up my pan and I'm going to dry roast the chana dal for about 3 to 4 minutes on a very low to medium flame, stirring continuously. This is very important that you actually roast the dals very well, and after 2 minutes you will get the aroma of this chana dal. Now the chana dal will start to turn a little reddish brown in color. Transfer this to a large plate. And once you have transferred it, cool it. Spread it around with a spatula so that it cools faster. Now we're going to dry roast the udid dal in the same pan. But the udid dal takes less time, so just roast it for about 2 minutes till it turns a little reddish in color. So roasting the dals is very important. Now this udid dal also will turn to a nice light red color. Once that is done, transfer that to the same plate in which you have transferred the chana dal. Again, using a spatula, spread it out so that it cools down faster. Now we're going to roast the ghee or the sesame seeds, and I'm using the white sesame seeds, but we're going to roast this for just half a minute or till it starts to splutter. Once it starts to splutter, just transfer it to the plate. So now we finish with the dry ingredients. Now we have to roast the coconut till it turns a nice golden brown in color. This takes just about 1 minute, but continuously stir it. Don't leave any of the ingredients unattended to. So now that it's turned into a nice golden brown color, transfer it to the same plate, but just separate it from the dals. Don't mix it up with the dals. Keep it aside. Or you can even put it in a separate plate. Now let all these ingredients completely cool down. Now in the same pan, I'm going to add 1.5 tablespoon of coconut oil. I've taken off the stems of all the chilies and I'm going to add all the chilies to this oil. Now adding coconut oil enhances the flavor of this chutney and also acts as a preservative. Now I'm going to add the curry leaves and I'm going to fry everything for a whole minute till the curry leaves and both the chilies are nicely fried. This is also very important. So fry everything for a minute till the chilies become nice and crispy and fried, and even the curry leaves become nice and crispy and fried. Now I'm going to add the turmeric and the asafoetida powder and continue frying for about just half a minute. And then I'm going to turn off the heat and I'm going to let this entire mixture completely cool down. It's very important that before we grind this chutney, everything comes to room temperature and is nice and cool. Don't try to grind it when it's very hot, because then the entire consistency of this chutney will change. So once that is done, turn off the flame and just let this mixture cool completely. So while this is cooling down, now that the dals have cooled down completely, we're going to add only the dal and the til, that is the chana dal, the udid dal and the sesame seeds or the til, to a nice mixer pot, a large mixer pot with a good blade, because we want to grind this to a very fine powder. So this is the powder. Now to this, now I'm going to add the roasted coconut. And again, I'm going to grind it to a very fine powder. So now that the dals and the til and the coconut are nicely ground, this is the consistency we're looking for. It should be a nice, loose, fine powder. Now in a separate mixer, I'm going to add the mixture of the chillies and the curry leaves and the turmeric and asafoetida, and I'm going to grind it to a very fine powder. Now I'm going to add the salt and the peppercorns. Now salt is to taste, as well as I'm going to add the tamarind and the jaggery, and I'm going to grind this too to a very fine powder. Now I'm going to add this mixture to our dal mixture that we have ground, and we're going to mix everything well and then grind the entire mixture to a very fine powder. If you follow all these steps carefully, even the shelf life of this chutney will be longer. I will explain that to you in the tips at the end of this video, so do watch the video till the end. And now just grind it to a very fine powder. And that's it. Our lovely chutney podi is all ready. Now because we've been grinding it in the mixer, it is a little on the warmer side. So now I'm going to transfer it to a bowl or a glass dish or a steel bowl and let it cool completely. It's very key that it comes to room temperature and it is not warm. And our chutney podi is all ready. Now, once it cools down completely, I'm going to transfer it to a dry and clean glass bottle. You can even transfer it to a steel bottle. And now I'm going to show you how I use it to use it on dosas. You can use it on uttapa, you can use it on idli. So now here I've heated my heavy iron dosa pan for about 10 to 15 minutes on a very low flame. This is very key to get a lovely dosa. Now I've already prepared my dosa batter at home. I'll leave a link of how I prepare my idli, dosa, uttapa batter. It's all one batter. And add about 4 tablespoons of this batter. Spread the dosa batter in this pattern, in this way, till it's nice and evenly spread. See that there are no gaps. Fill up the gaps with the batter. And then I just like to add a few drops of ghee or oil. Now you can add as little or as much as you like of the ghee. But if you want a really crispy dosa, then you need to add a little more ghee. And let it cook for about a minute or two till the sides start to turn golden brown in color. After that, you just loosen the edges and the center very gently with a spatula or an ulatna. And once that is done, just spread as much or as little of the pudi, add a little drops of oil and just brush it up and spread it out evenly on the dosa. Let it cook for about a minute or so. And then just serve the dosa. You can serve it all by itself or with whatever chutney or sambar that you like. wasn't that really very simple? It's made with ingredients that we generally have in our kitchen pantry. Now, a few tips about the recipe. So first of all, roast all the dals separately. Take your time with roasting it. Don't roast it on a high fire. Roast it on a medium to low and continuously stirring it so that the dal doesn't get burned. Like the chana dal might take about 3 to 4 minutes. The udid dal might just take about 2 minutes. The til takes less than 1 minute because it starts popping. So the minute it starts popping, you know you can keep a lid on it for some time. But see that it doesn't get burned because burnt til will really spoil the taste of the chutney. So when you're roasting all the ingredients, be very careful. Don't just leave it unattended because it might get burnt and the entire chutney will get ruined. The next thing is, the ingredients. Now, the first time when you're making a recipe, always follow the ingredients that the person who's showing you the recipe is telling you about. Give it a taste. But the next time you can always alter it. Like sometimes if you don't want to put coconut in this chutney, you can skip that. If you want to increase the amount of chana dal, you can increase that. So, but the first time you're making it, always follow the recipe of the person who's showing it to you, and then you can always make changes the second time around. I have ground the wet ingredients separately and then added them to the dry ingredients, but you can also put everything together. If you have a very good mixer, put everything together and grind it. It gives you the same result, but I like to do it this way, and it always turns out much better than rather putting everything together. So you can do it either way. Now for storing the chutney, store it in a clean, dry glass bottle. You can keep it at room temperature for about, say, 3 to 4 days if it is not very hot. Otherwise, you can refrigerate it and it lasts for almost a whole year if you refrigerate it. Or if you keep it in a nice, dark, cool place like a pantry. Don't keep it exposed too much to the heat for more than 4 to 5 days because it has coconut in it. It might get, spoiled. But if you're not using coconut, then you can keep this chutney out and it will last for a month outside, but then I would suggest that you refrigerate it. That's about all the hints that I can think of at the moment. If you have any questions about the recipe, please write to me in the comment section below. And if you like this recipe, then don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and go and check out all my recipes. I have more than 1,000 recipes on Akshata's Recipes with an apostrophe S. So thank you guys so much for supporting my channel by watching my videos. Do spread the word about my channel, share my recipes with family and friends, and I'll catch you soon in my next video. This is Akshata signing off. Take care of yourselves, stay healthy, stay fit, and be loving and kind to one another. Till we meet again. Bye.